Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm joined today by Dr. Swan Montague, who I've known for some years, but I was very pleased to learn that she's just released a new book called The Yeshua Frequencies, which is wholly relevant to the current times we're in. So perhaps, Swan, if you could just give us a little introduction to yourself and what you've been doing, and then we can go forward and explore the book in more depth.
Yes, sure, Malcolm. As you know, quite a long time ago now, I wrote the book of Sarah, Jesus' Secret Wife, which is a quartet. The first book is published. The three remaining books have not been able to be published yet. I think they will be soon. But it needed to be a safe time to bring out quite controversial and potentially incendiary information. Now that we're seeing more of the corrupt forces being moved out of the world, it will be time shortly. This book, the Yeshua Frequencies, is a metaphysical work. It's not a novel or an epic love story like the Book of Sarah. It's, of course, connected because all the information has come to me directly from Yeshua, which I've received since he appeared to me at my deathbed, actually, way back in 2003. This book is basically all the ways that his frequencies are made available to us, or that we can tap into his frequencies through the ages, past, present, and future, very much as well. So this book is quite, as you know, you've read it, it's quite a hefty 360-page, very informative book about all kinds of things. It's based around Soleil 17, which stands for the Sacred Order of Light, Energy, and Information 17, which is a mandala that was bequeathed to me in the 90s, which I've been developing and working with ever since. And that mandala is basically a bridge into the divine realm and the Yeshua frequencies, and a transmission and an emanation. And so this book explains the significance of Soleil 17 as it has been created to bring in the transmissions for the age of the Christess, the divine feminine in the Aquarian age. And 17 is the highest master number. It's actually a secret code. I'm being buzzed by a mosquito. It's a very sacred code, and the relevance of the number 17, which is interesting, obviously, to many people around the world at this time.
Yes, totally.
In the book, you know, the incredible amount of very symbolic and potent references to the number 17 in the Bible, and
Yep.
and its esoteric meaning in lots of other traditions. So that's my background. I have a PhD in metaphysics and an MA in Christ consciousness and its relevance in this day and age. So I'm bringing all of that knowledge together through poetry, art, writing of novels, and this book, which is metaphysical work.
Okay, that's a very, very comprehensive introduction. I mean, yes, I read through the book, and I have to say it's something I would have liked way back in 2009, 2010 when I first started on my journey because there was so much stuff to explore. And actually, I embarked on a bit of a not a world tour, but a tour of many countries to connect with lots of sacred, spiritual, and energetic spots. But you've managed to encapsulate lots of those in that book. So, for anybody starting off on their journey, wanting to understand and know about those places, it's a fantastic reference. It'll probably save them a lot of airfare money. um, so they can actually enjoy and get the essence of what it's all about. Australia, those sorts of places. So yeah, it's brilliant, and it's also got I've found a lot of very good exercises. I mean, apart from the fact that your poetry, I absolutely love your poetry, by the way, and you can use. I've actually been using that poetry in my meditation to start my meditation off because it brings you into a lovely, peaceful space and projects you out of, if you like, this reality into something else. And from there, you can then bounce on to do your meditation in whatever way you choose. So,
That That's very interesting.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought of that at all. But I did weave in, I didn't intend originally to weave in so much of my own poetry, just a few of the classics, you know, that we use, William
yeah,
Blake and Rumi, etc. But then the poetry started pouring through, and I realized the level of metaphysical information I wanted to articulate in a way that would make it understandable to people of all levels, but work with people, whether they're new to this scene or whether they're advanced, you know, spiritual seekers.
yeah. No,
He
absolutely. I mean,
teaches it. So the poetry weaves in the right, it basically weaves you into the right and left brain so that you don't get overwhelmed with mental stuff.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, that's exactly how I experienced it, really. So it acts like a bit of an anchor that you can start as your
Right.
bounce. You can bounce from there into whatever you want to do. But what I also loved was the first part of the book. You talk us through a lot of the stuff that happened to you in your life and how you used your connection to Jeshua to overcome a lot of obstacles that you encountered. And I think that's very inspiring for people. Is there any one of those particular events that stands out with you that you could relate now? Um, like where you'd set your intention to clear, or you needed something to happen, or whatever, and maybe you use those that Yeshua frequency, the Soleil 17, to help you through.
Well, without getting into a long dramatic story, of which there are some in the book, as you know, it's really the first time I've come out publicly with some of these deeper experiences that I've been put through. And I entirely blame Yeshua, who's put me through these experiences and into these situations. The thing that's coming to mind is the time when I was living in New Mexico and went to San Francisco to get married because I wanted to stay in America, but it wasn't working for me to stay. And ultimately, actually, when it fell through for the third time, Yeshua said to me, "You have to leave. War is coming to America," which we know now may not be war in the traditional sense, but nevertheless, there has been a big war going on around the world, but particularly intense in America. And for the work that I do, it would have made it actually very dangerous and probably sabotage my ability to do my work and bring through these Yeshua frequencies. So I was
Mm.
in San Francisco and my phone stopped working and I couldn't receive messages and I couldn't meet up with the person I was due to be marrying so I could stay. And I had this sense I needed to go to Ojai. I just kept getting, go to Ojai. And I've been driving up and down the country in my old Saab convertible, which was a bit rickety. Anyway, just I was in the hotel in San Francisco for 4 days, phone not working. And the hotel phone rang. And a woman I'd never met or heard of said she'd heard of me somehow and she had a house in Ojai. I told no one I was meant to go there. Would I like to go and stay in her house in Ojai?
Well,
I drove down the coast, and as I arrived into Santa Barbara County, the sky was full of this weird orange light, and all the traffic, just a solid non-stop queue of traffic, was going in the opposite direction. I was the only person going south, and all these people were tooting and flashing their lights, and I think, what is going on here? So I went into a gas station and said, "What's going on? Why is everyone tooting me?" They said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "To Ojai." And they said, "No, no, you can't go to Ojai." And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm going to Ojai." And they said, "No, don't you watch the news? The whole of Southern California is on fire, and Ojai is the next place for the fire to hit. It's a 2,000 square kilometer fire, or mile, I guess, fire. And
wow.
Ojai has been evacuated." So I got back into my car and used my emergency prayer, which is, "Jesus, get down here right now. And is this right?" And he said, "Yeah, you have to go and you have to be there by midnight. Get a move on. It's very important." Okay. And so I drove to Ojai, completely deserted. There was a placard outside the main shop there in the center of town that said, fire 100% out of control, evacuate. And there was absolutely no one, just a few dogs barking. All the houses were dark. I settled into my house, and I don't usually do an official meditation, but I dropped into a kind of lotus position and said, okay, Jesus, what now? What is going on? And I felt like a bang thump on the back of my neck. And I was walking in the fire, and I could see all these fire spirits just going crazy. And they were like 15, 20 foot tall. And I was really tall too. And I just spontaneously put up my hands and started shouting at them all, stop, stop, you're out of control. You're ruining people's lives, destroying the environment, destroying people's houses. Just stop. In the name of the Christ, I command you to stop. I don't know how long I did that for, maybe an hour. And then there was another thump on the back of my neck, and I was back in my body. And I went, okay, that was weird. Did I do what I was meant to do? And Yeshua said yes. So the next morning I went to sleep I wasn't at all worried. I knew if he'd guided me there, I'd be all right. So the next morning I went into town, and the placard outside the supermarket said, fire 85% under control. So
oh, wow.
I went back into my meditation with Yeshua and said, okay, the fire's still 15% out of control. Haven't I done enough? And he said, you've done exactly what I wanted you to do. The 15% that's out of control is the karma that some people still have to go through.
Right, right. Wow. Wow, what a story. That's amazing. So then you're in this town, an empty town. Is it empty?
Yeah, it was empty, but by the end of the day, people had started coming back, and I got to stay there and have a nice holiday in Ojai for a week.
Oh, great. Okay. So actually people started coming back within a kind of 24 hours then.
Yeah. And Ojai, I don't know if you know, but it's one of the sort of spiritual centers in America. It's where a lot of gurus and high masters have retreated to do their work. So it's a powerful energy point.
Right, right. No, I have driven down that coast, but I don't remember it. But no, that's very interesting. Okay, thank you. Wow, that's a really interesting story. Thank you. But I mean, I think the thing about it is in this book, when people get to grips with it, they can really see how they can put some of these things into practice and make that connection. I mean, you speak about talking to Yeshua. I mean, obviously, lots of people would say, "Oh, well, does she really do that, or is it her subconscious?" Blah blah blah. But I mean, reading the book, obviously, over the years, there's been so many cases where you've had guidance, and the guidance has come true that you wouldn't actually, once you've read the book, you wouldn't really question that. You'd know that you have actually been guided by somebody or a consciousness. So, so I think it's good for people to read the book, to understand your experiences, so that they've got something to hook onto, if you like.
Well, that was why I decided to come out of the shadows, really, with some of this more lesser known stuff that I've been doing over the years, because that's what I've been doing behind the scenes a lot, because people need to know that they can do this too, and that energy consciousness is available for us to tap into, and it's a divine cosmic force that is there to guide us. And to me, like you said, it's happened to me so many times with so many extraordinary experiences that I don't have any doubt in my mind anymore. But it doesn't even matter if it's really Yeshua or not really Yeshua. Am I making it up? The fact is, amazing stuff happens. People get healed. Miracles happen. Not because of me, but through me as the agent in that particular moment. And what he said is true. What I do, you too shall do or more.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the key to it, isn't it, really? Because once people understand that other people like yourself have these experiences, then they realize that they can actually become self-empowered themselves. And at that point, that is a big turning point, because when people start to understand that they have got the power, then they will explore it. But up until that point, nobody's willing to explore it because the ego prevents them from taking that step that's a little bit offbeat or out of sync with the rest of the population. And I think that's the key thing about the book, really, that you've put down. It's kind of like it's not an A to Z, but it's a Michelin guide to the way you can move through the energies, if you like.
Yeah, it's a kind of cosmic map or
Yeah,
guidance system, and that's what Soleil 17 and the mandala that is the emanation of Soleil 17 does.
yeah,
It's as well as guidance. It's really an oracle and a healing transformation transmission. It's all of that. And
yeah,
the point that I mentioned later in the book, is when there's a chapter on future incarnations, we're not just transforming and evolving for this life. We're already programming, whether we know it or not, how our future, the trajectory of our future lives, and
absolutely.
preparing for the sacred world renaissance. So this information has a purpose, a very important and sacred purpose.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love that phrase, sacred world renaissance. It has such depth to it, as well as um, a real tone. So I think that's a really good title.
Yeah, I like
Um,
that too, because it's the renaissance of the sacred world and a sacred renaissance.
yes, exactly. Yeah, it's just so much tied up in that. So if I get the book and then I read it, so how would I use the Soleil 17? How might I go about that?
Well,
In what?
there are some suggestions in the book, but ultimately the best thing is to get the mandala, which is just a printout. It's a mandala that has your or the person's name written over it, and it's blessed and activated by me. It only works if it's blessed and activated and personally dedicated. And then I send the digital copy, and anyone can print it out for lifetimes at any size, big size for your wall, or
Okay.
for your table, or small ones that you can carry with you, and you just tap yourself 17 times with it.
Okay, fine. And then once you've done that, then it's a bit like Reiki then. So you're attuned to that.
Every time you do it, you attune more, and every time you do that, it increases your capacity to integrate and embody those frequencies. So when I started, I really felt it when I first saw the mandala. But after I've been using it for a while, the first thing I noticed was I could see and feel it emanating from my palm chakras.
Ah,
And then it's sort of fully embodied, and now it's just emanating out everywhere.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. No, that's very interesting. So in fact, if you so can you use it like Reiki? So if I'm with my elderly mum, for example, and she's struggling, would I tap into that to give her a bit of energy to help her along during the
Yeah,
day?
you can do. Although I must say, if people are, let's say, struggling in lower frequency energies and consciousness, it can be a bit challenging and intense.
Mm, mm. Yeah, no, I mean it is very challenging. I mean, I've been there myself actually, so that's how I started on my journey, and I remember that well. I mean, at this present moment, we've had comets appear in our skies that various space agencies are busily not telling us about. Other space agencies are telling us about. Various other people are giving us other information. I mean, I've had my own personal experience of both the Atlas 3I and the Swan R2. Um, and in fact, we did a meditation together around the Atlas, where we were joined by somebody from France when she'd actually gone to the Atlas Mountains in Morocco,
Right.
and we were working with the Atlas 3I then. Um, so, how do you see the Soleil 17 um, working with these energies that are coming in? And have you had any information about the comets? I think that's probably what I'm trying to say. Have you had any information about the comets?
Yeah, I have really exciting information about the comets.
Oh, great, great.
I feel that it's all connected and all divinely aligned and all in divine timing. So the Sole 17 really coming out, being launched at this time, is absolutely connected to the timing of the comets and the consciousness that's coming in with those comets, especially
Right.
the Swan Comet, which, although Swan is just the name of the company, it does actually carry a lot of Swan consciousness, not my personal consciousness, the consciousness of the cosmic swan, which is a very divine being that I
Right.
work with. And the Atlas comet that Yeshua showed me was programmed, has been programmed by the Andromedans with consciousness, or consciousness streams of divine masters from all over our solar system. And that their energy, their consciousness, maybe even their spirits, I'm hesitant to say, but I think that's true, are coming back on this comet. I don't believe it's a comet. I actually personally believe it's some kind of vehicle, but I can't I can't validate that, obviously. But
Mm.
what I do see is that this comet is bringing back an incredible amount of evolutionary gnosis, gifts, and tools and mastery information. It's going to provide us with this incredible download of realizing our superhuman, almost, in terms of
Mm.
what we have been known to expect until now. Our
Yeah.
superhuman potential is likely to be a very big emotional upgrade. For people who've done a lot of work, it won't be so much about purging or cleansing. It's more about just letting go and surrendering and allowing this higher consciousness to be embodied and vibrate through us. And in some ways, I believe that it's a big relief. I'm feeling relief, and I think you have been too.
No, no, totally. I mean, I really get it. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really know anything about it probably until a good few weeks into the information that was coming from the various news agencies. And it was only really until the day I found out was the day that I contacted you, because I'd had that message from somebody in the south of France going to the Atlas Mountains in Morocco saying, I feel we should do a meditation. And the whole thing came together. It was quite amazing. Uh, and since then, I've done probably almost a daily meditation where I've connected with the energy from the comets. And really, when you do that and you intend to connect with the energy and bring that energy down and anchor it, it is so strong. It's one of the strongest things I've ever felt. It's really good. Yeah.
When
Um,
when we're meditating together and
mm,
connecting into the pods, I mean, I have my little portable one here, but
oh
when
yeah.
we into the big ones and meditating together with the lady in the south of France, or if she's in the Atlas, wherever, there was a huge shift the last time we did that. I really felt the whole St. Michael ley line clearing draconian energies that have been dominating that entire part of the world for
Yeah.
70 years or more, just cleared out, and we all felt it. Very powerful, and I believe it's all related to the comets. And I have more to tell you actually about.
Yeah, far away.
Atlas is also bringing back Dogon energies, which was a divine feminine planet or star, Sirius C, in the Sirius system. And
Hmm.
those are air aquatic beings, mer people. And they're very connected to Yeshua because he was, in fact, over lighting, or the overlord of the mer people in one of his incarnations, not human, obviously. I feel that it could bring a lot of sun changes, sea changes, air changes, and we're moving into Pluto days at the end of the month. So there's going to be cleansing of air and water and elementals for sure.
Fantastic.
And then
Yeah.
I've got a bit more to say about Swan
Yeah.
Comet, and then I want to say something about the trajectory of where they've been and where they're going.
Okay.
The Swan Comet actually apparently became visible in May 2020, which I think everyone will remember was a very significant time on in the world. And I I'm not an expert, but I look quite a lot at the 22 lost signs of the zodiac by a woman called Catherine Tennant, who's no longer with us, sadly. But it's a very profound system because apparently there were originally 22 signs. And those signs are much more in depth and shed a lot more light on certain periods of the year. And May 2020 in her system was the sign of the rose, which is the symbol of longing, hope, heart's awakening about, the pain of the thorns. So it's a lot about bittersweet experiences, feeling the pain. At that time in 2020 was this symbol then of the beauty of the rose, the rose that needed to bloom, and having to work with the thorns, which of course with the scam gender we were all being faced with, and there were a lot of challenges to our personal space, our boundaries, and our ability to live life. Totally changed that time, as we know. So that was the symbolism of the rose. The Swan Comet is programmed actually by Yeshua with his future plan for the Earth, not just for the Earth, for the solar system as well. So as it's moving towards Pluto, that also could trigger long expected upheavals, but especially I feel the potential for the long awaited major solar flash. I don't know, and I haven't been told that by Yeshua. I just have a sense that I wouldn't be surprised if it happened at that time. But
Okay.
I do expect a major timeline shifts. So it's such an important time to be as highly attuned and aligned as humanly possible, because the energy is building fast. And coming on the comet is, let's say the vehicle, the vessel, whatever it is this live stream, this consciousness of Yeshua, of Sananda. And not only of Yeshua, but also it's bringing back the consciousness of John the Baptist, which is really exciting because his consciousness hasn't come back to the world very much and doesn't come to the world that often. But both their energies coming together are different aspects, if you like, different faces of the divine masculine and the Christic life force coming back to Earth. And it's very powerful that they're happening at this time. So Swan 2 is in a sense a baptismal energy. It's birthing the frequencies and the energy of the age of the Christess, which I talk about in the Yeshua Frequencies. It's bringing a living library of new cosmic frequencies from more highly evolved systems around our solar system. It has a database of new emotional keys for higher frequency living. This is what Yeshua has told me. Codes of divine mother, father protection, living energy DNA codes from the 17th dimension, which is the dimension of the spiritual overlighting for the world for the next 2,000 years, ruled by Sarah, who is the higher self, the new higher self of humanity. She's the divine lady of the new paradigm and the new age. So it's an activation of Aquarian codes that have been locked behind seals in our DNA until this time. So those codes are going to be activated, and we will be realigning mentally, physically, spiritually, energetically, and emotionally and karmically. So it could trigger a massive exodus of people who are not ready to handle these energies or not destined to stay on much longer. But it also brings this energy of new movement, new levels of consciousness, new levels of divine living. It's not even a wave. What I'm seeing is it's a tsunami, actually, of transmissions of divine love. What's going to happen is that they diverge paths. So during September and October, up until late in the month, these two comets are both journeying, or these two vessels are journeying through a secret portal. This is a portal that, as far as I know, no one knows about. Yeshua has just revealed to me actually in the last few days. That portal is called the Sphinx portal. And it's a portal that connects to the Pashat people, who were a civilization, if you like, on a planet called Pashat planet, that existed in the 22nd dimension. So very, very high spiritual beings. And they are original lion people who, of course, are connected to the sphinxes around the world and the Giza Sphinx. And Yeshua told me recently that the Giza Sphinx is the most important stargate in the world. And that is the one that connects to all the other stargates and activates everything. When that sends out a transmission, that changes everything with all the other stargates and all the other sphinxes. As you probably know, there's a sphinx in Japan, and there are other sphinxes. There's even one in America in the Grand Canyon. Yeah. We won't go there today. Anyway, this secret portal is just behind the portal of the constellations that we know on Earth, and it opens into that. So this Sphinx energy is being activated at this time very powerfully by them coming through that. It's about the guardian of thresholds and mysteries, revealing more to us. It's going to bring us more riddles, but also more knowledge and self-knowledge. It symbolizes the integration of opposites and initiation before transformation. So it's about a collective period of questioning and discernment. But what happens is they, around the end of the month, in the last week or so, they diverge. And Atlas is going into the one that Catherine Tennant calls the ear of the wheat. And that's all about harvest, reaping what has been sown, the putting into practice wisdom gained. It's the themes of nourishment, service, generosity, and manifestation. So it's time to heal and feel and uplift the collective. That's very exciting. And then Swan Comet, or Swan vehicle, is moving into Ophiuchus, who's the serpent holder. That's the god of healing and medicine. So that's very symbolic of death and rebirth. It's the serpent shedding its skin. So it's really time for people all over the world, and probably the solar system, to be shedding skins, because everyone's going through an evolutionary and ascension process. So that's the exciting information I have about the comets. The thing that I most love is this John the Baptist and Yeshua energy coming back to us, because to have the frequencies, the consciousness, and the mastery of those two incredible beings available to us at this time is a huge portent.
So John the Baptist is not actually somebody who a lot of people know much about. I mean, obviously, if you've been brought up in a religious or a church background, then you would have heard his name and heard people speak about him. But can you just give us a little just snippet of when you say John the Baptist energy, what kind of energy are you referring to there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to make this very clear. I'm not religious. I'm absolutely have nothing to do with any religion, because religion, it means about the law, and we're not here to deal with laws. We're here to embody our own Christic mastery. And these two, John and Jesus, Yeshua, were incredible divine masters who were initiated, remember, all over the world, not just in Judea. And they weren't Christians. They were actually born Jewish, but again, they moved beyond religion too. And Yeshua especially was indoctrinated, initiated, illuminated in Egypt, in Persia, in France, southwest of France, as far as Cornwall, actually, and Scotland. And what they bring is consciousness of spiritual mastery and power, way beyond religion, that is our divine birthright. And so that's the energy that's coming back, is this divine masculine potential, infinite potential of the divine masculine. which
Yeah, come on.
we need on the planet, because as we know, the feminine, it's easier because the feminine's challenge is just to open the heart chakra and come into our truth. But oh, sorry, the throat chakra, and speak our truth. But the masculine challenge has been to come back to the heart and embody again that divine masculine force. And that's what's coming back and being made available. Not just made available, it's transmitting, it's emanating, and it's activating. I mean, whether you like it or not, it's coming. Whether you believe it or not, it's happening to you.
No, absolutely. No, I mean, I think the current time is absolutely amazing, really, because the population's conscious engagement with what's going on around them is gradually being shifted up and out into the universe. And they will then start to ask questions because humans are naturally inquisitive. Well, for those of us who are naturally inquisitive, some of them have had it knocked out of them. But, they will start asking the questions, and then they will be making that connection out to the other consciousness that is coming in. So, like you say, whether or not you believe it or whether or not you like it, it's coming in. And as soon as you start asking those questions, then you're going to be making the connection. And then it'll be up to various people. Some people will feel it, some people won't. But I mean, I've done the meditations, and I've definitely felt it coming in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic time.
Well, that's right. And it's not just that, if you think about it, and I know you know this, but for the audience, everything gets programmed through the etheric field and the plasma field. This is what my understanding of plasma, that Yeshua has shown me. Those are the two key places where our blueprint is created and then emanates into the rest of our levels: physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever. The physical is the last bastion of whatever our subconscious, unconscious, or superconscious. So the plasma field, which of course you're working with an expert on, and the etheric field, are where the new programs are happening. And those are the levels that are already being activated and reprogrammed and re-encoded by these Yeshua and John and other energies, all the divine masters of the solar system coming in. That's happening to everyone's etheric field, the plasma of the world. So it's like the whole program is changed. We're not watching Netflix anymore. We're in a whole new realm of the movies that are guiding our life.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And in fact, Diana Cooper, who has used the pods, one of the first things she said when she sat down in meditation with it, she said that we should be asking for our highest health blueprint to come in when we've made our connection. And that's exactly what you've just said. It's the connection to your DNA, your absolute core root information that we're bringing back up so that we can understand and then start using. So that's a really great comment that you made there, because it just echoes with so many other people that I've spoken to who've been using the plasma technology, that they can make this connection and they feel, I was going to use the word elevated. It sounds a slightly high-minded when you say that, but it's not elevated. It's actually more, the plasma actually allows you to create more space within you, meaning that you've got more space for more information.
That's how I experience it too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would say it's elevating in that, because it's creating more space, which I didn't really know. My own experience of it is that it's clearing and raising the field so that you feel more powerfully connected and illuminated and in contact with your higher self and the divine.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's really fantastic. So readers of the book, really, they're going to get a front section, which is going to be kind of like a confirmation that this energy work that you've entered into does work, because you provided the examples. They're going to have references from around the world, and they're going to have the practical way in which they can use it. So it really is kind of like I better not say the word Bible, had I?
I, it's really funny because before I came up with the name of the Yeshua Frequencies, I was going to call it the Metaphysical Bible, and then my
Oh, right.
I think you should stay away from Bible because, of course, I didn't mean it in that sense.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, that's what the book does. And there's also a chapter on the spirit of disease, the causes of disease, and various chapters. I don't remember them all. 17 chapters.
Ah,
Everything came
good.
out as master numbers, 363 pages. Uh,
Yeah,
Everything came out for that. Codes for the new earth, activations, all kinds of forgotten secret knowledge that's been revealed to me about the past and the potential to program our future.
yeah. And also, as you go through the book, you can read those references, and of course, you're free to go off and do your own investigation about everything that you have in the book to confirm that what you're saying is true, and to confirm for yourself that you are actually in living through this age of awakening. And that probably is the most powerful thing about it, because it is a um, self-empowering exercise
Yeah.
to read the book. That's actually what I'm saying.
Thank you
Yeah.
for that. The most exciting thing for me that I absolutely loved, and I was rippling with goosebumps from head to toe and laughing and crying and just so overjoyed, filled with emotion, is when I got the download from Yeshua or what anyone, whoever anyone wants to believe I'm getting my downloads from, of all the great masters who are already back here, incarnated on Earth. I don't know if you remember those 2 pages. There's a DNA diagram with all their names. Just all the incredible Renaissance masters, great teachers, great artists, leaders like Alexander the Great, all back here now,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, I
walking
mean it's
amongst us. That's just the most exciting thing, because when you get your head around that, you see the potential for this the sacred world renaissance and the amount of mastery and incredible light that we're
yes. Yeah, yeah. And it's very tangible, because you wake up in the morning and you actually feel something's changed. Certainly over the last week, I've woken up every morning thinking, God, I feel a bit exhausted after whatever it was I was doing during the night, but I definitely feel much better and feel lighter. So
I think
um
everything has to change, and if people aren't ready to change, then it's going to be tough, because
yeah,
this is, you go with this flow. There's no fighting this flow. You get with the new program and you go with it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's been really lovely speaking with you, and to get this information out to people, really, because there must be so many people around at this time searching around for answers. And at the moment, it's like a wall of where the hell do I go next for my
Mm.
next piece of information? But they can go to your book, have a read of the book, and then that will start to bring all the pieces back together for them. And then they can choose their route of investigation from there, or they can choose their route
Yeah.
of embodiment, or choose their route of action, whatever it is they want to do. And that's what I think the great thing about the book is. It's a multi-purpose manual.
Well,
Um,
it's a sacred order of light, energy, and information with 17
yeah,
as the number. So it's bringing all of that back into the right divine perspective, the right divine order
yeah,
for the
yeah.
new paradigm. And of course, I've just actually finished a flyer for our meditation on the 17th of every month, because the
Okay,
17th is the power day.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
every month at 17:17, or wherever people are at 17 minutes past, they can, it's not a live meditation, they could just tap into the field with Orinoco Sole 17 and this field of energy that we're working with, and that will be a
Yeah,
great support and inspiration, I believe.
absolutely. No, and those meditations, I mean, we will be doing with the whole of the Orinoco network, which now is not huge in numbers, but it does spread around the world, and is a very powerful, um, expansive force when you're looking at connecting with these types of energies. So do if you're watching this, do make time to sit in and join that meditation, because I think you'll definitely find the benefits from it. It's backed up by the whole of the Orinoco network and the plasma fields. So yeah, fantastic stuff. Okay, Swan, thank you so much for this interview and for your time. You look to be in a lovely location there, beautiful stonework behind you on the wall there. It's got to be Mediterranean. Um, and look forward to maybe doing something similar like this again in the near future, depending on what happens. But I'm sure that there's going to be some really fantastic revelations coming up. So everybody, if you do check below for all the links to what we've been speaking about, how to connect with Swan, how to connect with Orinoco and myself, and I wish everybody a fantastic onward journey.
Thank you so much, Malcolm, for reaching out to me to do this. I'm really grateful, and for getting the book and understanding and supporting that. And I love this collaboration with Orinoco and Sole and the meditations and everything we're going to be doing. So I definitely look forward to doing more.
Okay, great. Super. Thank you. Thank you again, Swan.
Thank
And see you soon.